When you are doing your earnest money, put down as little as possible.
Good point.
Really.
Hey everyone, Kevin Amos, Pine Financial Group, where we work together so you succeed. I'm gonna ask a favor. If you could please hit the subscribe button and maybe the notification button. We're really trying to grow this YouTube channel. We could help a lot more people, Sean, if we get more subscribers.
Agreed.
Today I have Sean Bloomquist from Minnesota in town. We're gonna talk a little bit about how to keep your earnest money safe. Sean, what's the best way for our clients and our buyers to keep that earnest money safe? Or maybe we should talk about what earnest money is first.
Sure, that's a good question. So earnest money is essentially your good faith money. When you go to make an offer on a property, you're probably gonna put down some amount of money to let the seller know, yes, I intend to buy this property. But what the caveat is, you could lose that money if you don't close on the deal. So there are ways to keep it safe, and that's what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah, so they call it going hard. When the earnest money goes hard, that means it's at risk. If you don't close on the property, you're gonna have to forfeit the earnest money to the seller. So give me an example of how we keep this money safe.
Sure, so that's a great question. I get that question a lot from realtors and investors, is how should we structure it so that we have an out, essentially. You know, if we don't close on the property, is there a way for us to get our earnest money back? And one of the questions I get from realtors is, should we have a financing contingency? And I would suggest against that, because a financing contingency could be a red flag to a bank-owned property or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of time those finance contingencies in the contracts push that deadline almost all the way out to closing,
Yeah.
so it makes the offer a lot less attractive to the seller.
Sure. So what I would suggest doing is maybe put in an inspection period or an inspection contingency, maybe 7 to 10 days or something like that. All that's doing is telling the seller, hey, I want to be able to walk through this property another time, make sure it's exactly what I wanted, make sure I didn't miss anything, things like that.
Run your numbers.
Yeah, run your numbers.
Budget.
Exactly. And by doing that, you're not asking something out of the ordinary. You're just saying, hey, I just want to be able to walk through one more time. It isn't a red flag. It isn't something that's going to stand out to them. And you've got a much better chance of getting your earnest money back if you don't decide to do the deal within that inspection period.
Okay, so if they're going to come to us and try to borrow money from us, hard money, we finance 100% of the purchase, all the repairs, all the closing costs, everything. They're going to come to you, Sean. What's the timeline that you need or they need to get back to the seller to know they're going to buy the property or not? What's the process?
Sure. So when they come to us, and actually that brings up a good point. And the first point I want to make is when you are doing your earnest money, put down as little as possible.
Good point.
Really. I mean, if it's a bank-owned property, they're maybe going to want a little more in earnest money. But to be honest, I wouldn't go more than maybe $1,000 or $2,000 because if you don't close on it, you could risk that money. So you don't want to be risking $5,000, $10,000, something like that.
Unless it's a competitive situation, then a high earnest could make you a little bit more competitive, but be very careful.
Yes.
And do what Sean's saying to keep the earnest money safe.
Yeah, exactly. So once you get a property under contract, you come to someone like us, you have the purchase agreement executed, you have your scope of work of what you're going to do to the property, and you have your due diligence after repaired value you've done with your realtor. We'll get an appraisal ordered, and that's essentially what that inspection period is for. So we can get that appraisal done, get it back, and we can close within a 2-week time period. So if you've got a 7 to 10 day inspection period, we should be able to give you an answer, yes or no, whether or not this is going to be something to move forward on, so you have that chance to get it back.
Yeah, and just to clarify this so there's no question, the best thing to do is get your budget together, get your inspections and everything done within a day or 2 of going under contract so that Sean has enough time to get the value correct.
Exactly.
So you don't have 7 days to put your budget together. You got to get it done within a day or 2, get it on over to us so we can start working on our side and keep your earnest money safe.
Exactly.